Welcome to the Engineering, Emotions, and Energy podcast. I'm your host, Justin Wink. Today, we're going to be talking about having the intern mindset and getting the job you really want and then killing it once you have it. So I've been working in the tech industry for over 10 years now. I got my Ph.D. in engineering, and so I had an internship when I was in an undergrad. So I have a lot of experience of polishing up my resume, looking for jobs, doing the interviews. So I'm here to share some things to make your life as easy as possible, because finding a job is a full-time job. And at this point in time, especially, even if you have a job, you might be thinking like, well, this job could go at any time, so I got to be ready. Or maybe you already lost a job, or you're looking for your first time job ever as graduates are starting to enter the workforce. And I'm here to help you out in the easiest, most effective way possible, because that's what we're here. We're here to engineer ourselves, and our career is a big part of, how we show up in the world in a way that we can share our gifts and also support ourselves and our loved ones, and also continue to invest in ourselves through doing programs and continuing education, because just because school's over doesn't mean the learning stops. Keeps on going. You're not done. You're not done with a book until you're in a box. That's what I like to say. That's the first time I ever said that. Anyway, so you might be wondering, okay, I want to get a job. I need to do a resume. So very minimum, Google good resume templates. So I've done lots of hiring before, and if it's aesthetically annoying, it's out. It's really sorry to say, but if I can't find what I'm looking at in 5 seconds, I'm going to move on. So you want a standard template that's very industry acceptable, where it's easy for people to find information they are looking for, like what the hell you're good at. So if it takes me more than 3 seconds to figure out if you're an electrical engineer or a civil engineer, I'm moving on. I got a stack of 50 to 100 other resumes I got to get through. So make it real easy for people to find the information they want from you. Other thing is, I like to have what I like to call a superset resume. And this is basically everything that you've ever done, anything that you've ever accomplished. It's really a brag sheet of all possible things. It doesn't matter if you think it's relevant for the job you want, because again, the job you might want could totally change, and you don't know what piece of experience could become very handy in getting you the job that you eventually want to have. So I'm saying really go through your entire career of life. If you just volunteered at swim meets and you helped, organize the passing out of ribbons, mark that down. That's something you did, because that you never know, that could come in like, hey, that's practically a customer service experience, handing out ribbons. You never know. So every little thing, volunteer, any type of organization, and be really focused on your accomplishments and the impact that had. Don't just put, I worked as a cashier and got money. Like that's cool. But if you can put something like, I was one of the most efficient and friendliest cashiers. I would be able to get through a line of 20 customers twice as fast as my fellow employee, and had one of the highest satisfactions of customers giving me kudos to my boss, things like that. That really show that you don't just do a job, but you do it in an outstanding way, and you were there to provide value and be superb in whatever it is you do. So that's the first thing, is have your superset resume. Then, as you finally decide what jobs you actually want to apply for, now is the time to start sort of shorting that down, getting that shorter and more crisp, so that it's really what the person that's likely to hire is looking for. So if you got a job description, use the language in the job description. If it's just slight tweaks, just a little addition to be a little bit more clear of what they wanted. Because for example, so industry I've recently been working in is NAND solid state drives. So let's say, for example, I might have just put down that, I'm really well aware of NAND SSD operation. but let's say that there's a job that they're looking for someone that knows SSD architecture. So just because I said SSD systems knowledge, and they say they want to know they want SSD architecture experience, those are really pretty similar. So I would want to go and substitute the word system knowledge with SSD architecture knowledge, so that it's really very similar skill set, very similar in practice. But if you're the one that wrote it and you put architecture, you're going to see architecture and go like, hey, this person's more likely a match. Because remember, the purpose of the resume is to get you the interview. In the interview, they're really going to dig into your experiences and ask those questions. And so it's really, you want to get to the interview. In the interview, that's when you're going to get down to it. And if the interview is kind of like me, I don't necessarily care if you're exactly 100% of what you've done is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for what you did in the past, you did really well, and that you seem like you would have the aptitude to pick up what I need you to pick up quickly, that you can think, and that you can work with the type of basically the type of environment whatever my team group dynamic is. And there's really no good or bad. One question I often like to ask is, would you prefer to work in an environment where you can kind of work solitary, have a task, and you can go off and work on it, and then bring the result after a week? Or would you like to be working a type of job where it's very interactive with a lot of people? You're going to have to, you get interrupted, and you might have multiple things going on at the same time. And most people are very clear. They either love one or they hate one. Some people might be okay with, something in between. But these are, very different environments, and some people like one way more than the other. None is good or bad. So the other thing I like to tell people when they're thinking about the interview is that the interview is absolutely 100% going both ways. So you want to find out, is this a good fit for you as well? So there are times where you want to be telling what you're looking for, because you don't want to just say, I'll do anything, because you could end up having a year or many years of misery if you've talked your way into a job that is not a good fit for you. So look for these things, and when you're sort of asked a question that's behavioral, you want to put yourself in the best light, but still be you. Don't be afraid to be you, because it's going to come off, whether you're you or you're not you anyway. So that's one of the things for the interviewing. And the other big thing is, don't work on your resume in a vacuum. I really advise getting as much help and support. If you're still in school or you have an association with a school that has career services, that was part of what you paid all your damn money for. So fucking use it. So I was always infuriated when I would be talking to students that had gone to my alma mater, and they'd give me a resume and it was just garbage. And I knew, but I would ask anyway, did you go to the career services yet? And they would go, no. And I would go, take this, go to the career services person. They are fantastic. They will polish it up, then send it to me, and I will help you polish, because I really do. I enjoy helping people brag and make their best show on that resume. So it's something I really enjoy doing. I love doing it. So it's something, if you would like help on, shoot me a note, email, we can work something out, and I can help you with your resume and help boost you up. Because one thing that I noticed this with myself, and I noticed this with a lot of people that come to me that are, brilliant masters of what they do, is they look awful on paper. Because part of what gets you to being the best at what you do is always seeing ways to improve, and you're always looking at the other guy that does a little better, the other girl that has that skill that you haven't quite figured out or mastered yet. So it really is important to realize that you're not always competing with the best person. You're competing with the average person, and you're likely well above average in a lot of the things you do. And that's what needs to go on the paper. And it's okay if you feel bad about bragging. That's when, someone like me or someone else that helps with resumes can really help you out. Because if you're not going to brag on your resume, no one else is. Because I know when I read a resume, and I hear a lot of other people that are hiring managers, they they just assume that this is the best that a person is ever going to appear like on paper. And I do the same things in an interview. When I'm interviewing someone, I assume this is the absolute best I'm going to see of this person. Now, there's a part of me that absolutely recognizes that some people are just awful at resumes. Some people are just awful at an interview. But then there's the other part of me that knows, hey, this is the way the game is set up. And there's lots of ways to study and get an edge in the game. So you can hate the game, but you're going to lose every time. So just accept the game, how the game is, and play to win. Because there really is no game that you can win, but it's a lot more fun to play with the mindset that winning is possible, and you're going to do what you can do to have that edge. Because it's all about having the edge in the way you feel and the way you live and the way you take your career. So we've talked about, some ways of building the resume, get some help, some things that can help you in the interview process. So the last thing I'd kind of like to cover is some questions related to, you've finally gotten your dream job, or it's the best job that you want so far. Because that's the other thing, is sometimes we worry about like, well, what's this going to look like? And trying to think too many steps ahead. Sometimes we don't have to play life like it's chess. Sometimes just play checkers. Like, you make a move, you can always make another move. And you don't have to make sure that all the moves are going to lead to some perfection, because you're changing, the world is changing, a lot of stuff is changing. The old saying that the only constant is change is true, and we're probably getting bitch slapped in the face more than ever with recent COVID craziness fun. So now I'll share some of the things that once you got your job, how can you just kill it by being so fantastic in relating with your manager and coworkers and things like that. So this is going to come from intern season has started, and I really do love intern season because they just bring this energy and this passion that's inspiring. Because after you're working in an industry 10 years, it can be a little it's made me a little jaded, and I see other people get jaded, and it's nice to get that reinvigorating energy of that excitement of all the possibilities and the enjoying the learning for the learning's sake, and the just wanting to learn and wanting to do the best. It's really, really fantastic. So one of the things that I love is it just reminds me to have that intern mindset. And I think the more that we can all have that intern mindset of, hey, it's fresh, it's new, the more that we can learn and grow and enjoy what might have otherwise been a job, something that sucks, something that's annoying, right? So one of the questions that was asked of me was, with COVID, how has work-life balance changed because of it? And I'll be honest, the psychological and emotional challenges of COVID were real. I mean, there have been weeks, where I've been emotionally drained. It's, had fights with the wife, had issues at work because communication via Skype or Zoom or phone just is not as good as, in person, face to face. You can totally read the emotions on each other perfectly. So that part has been a big challenge. But as far as work-life balance, time management, to me, that hasn't changed, because for quite a while, I've been a big believer in it really is all about managing expectations. Managing the expectations that other people have of you, but also managing expectations that you have for yourself. Because for me, and I know a lot of other people that are ass-kicking go-getters that I just want to do it all themselves, figure it out. The way the industry and the world works is there's no extra credit for doing it yourself. You get the credit for getting it done and getting it done just good enough. One statement I love that was painful, being a summa cum laude, nearly 4.0 student, Ph.D. motherfucker having, is B work gets A paychecks. And I found that to be so true, that extra polish, that extra perfection does not necessarily get you the financial rewards because time is so critical, and you can get a B level of work done quicker, and that it's quicker, it's more likely to be aligned to what people actually need anyway, because the perfect thing that never comes is completely worthless. So going back to what I was talking about, what was I talking about? Oh my gosh. So now I remember. I think I remember. Feeling overwhelmed by the daily grind? Imagine if you could pause, reset, and truly connect with a calmer, more fulfilled you. It's not just a dream, it's absolutely possible. Hi, I'm Justin, and I invite you to discover the life-changing techniques in my book, Engineered to Love. Right now, I'm offering a free chapter complete with guided audios that have already helped so many people find peace amidst the chaos. These aren't just any techniques. They're transformative practices designed to help you love yourself and engage deeply with the present moment, without even having to close your eyes to the world around you. So join us at engineeredtolove.com/sample and access your free guided session. It's time to bust the busyness and embrace the joy, ease, and love in your everyday life. Don't wait. Start your journey to a more relaxed and recharged you today, because you deserve to live a life you love. Visit engineeredtolove.com/sample. See you there. Boy, I don't know if this has happened before, but I'm having, oh yeah, managing expectations of yourself and others. So first, let go of the expectation that you're going to be able to do everything and everything perfectly. Asking for help. I just got back from working. I volunteer at a yoga studio weekly because I love the studio. I love the environment. I just love being around the people. So that's why I volunteer there, just because it's so uplifting to be in that environment. And so it just reopened, and there's a whole lot of, new protocols. And so I was working with the manager there, learning the new protocols, and asking, so, how's it been at home? And she's like, well, I got a son, and he's looking for a job, and, his resume could be a little bit better, but he doesn't want to ask for help. And I was like, hey, I understand that. I used to have a hard time asking for help, but often one of the most valuable skills is the skill for asking for help. Because again, as someone that needs something done, I don't care if you did it or you knew someone who could get it done. I'm just happy you got it done one way or the other. So I'm much happier if you found the expert that could get it done like that. Then you spent, a year and a half and kind of started to figure it out, and you had fun learning, but, we missed the boat on when we really needed to have this problem solved. So asking for help is crucial in the workplace and with getting your resume improved. So that's where expectations are really good, and allowing yourself to, not lower your expectations of yourself, but have reasonable expectations of yourself, and really expecting more of other parts of yourself, because there's those parts of yourself that are important and you haven't really worked. Maybe you've worked the part of yourself of really being able to study and be independent, but have you developed the part of you that works well with others, the part of you that can ask for help? And so that's really important. And when you do that and you realize that it's about communicating with others what you're capable of, and timelines, and then realizing that sometimes you don't know everything, then you can set expectations much better. And it really is about people not being disappointed. If you say that I'm going to do this by this date and you deliver, that's way more important than promising to do a whole bunch of stuff. I've seen this at work with many, many individuals, people that every meeting, they're like, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that thing. I got that project. I do that. And you're just like, wow, that is amazing that this person can do everything. It's so amazing that I don't believe it. And I don't believe it because it's bullshit. These people consistently disappoint. they end up being the person that it comes time when they were supposed to deliver, and you got to go bug them and go, hey, can you do this? Can you get that? And they eventually get it because they are hard workers. They are brilliant individuals, but they promise to so many people that they can never consistently commit on time. And so it really requires a lot of almost micromanaging to actually get them to follow through on what they commit to. And if you're someone that is very dependable, you do what you say and you say what you do, then that's less effort that somebody has to worry about. Are you going to deliver or not? And so that really coming up with commitments that you can deliver on, you can really allow yourself that ability to have the work-life balance that you truly want. So if you know that committing to more stuff is going to take you out of the balance that works for you, then just push back. And it really doesn't have to be that more complicated than, this is a really cool tip that I learned, is basically like, you should always be able to list off at least 5 things that you are working on. So that if someone says, hey, I need you to be able to run some performance data under this new workload, some garbage nonsense like that, you can go, that's really cool. I'm currently working on coming up with a new user interface for our indicators. I'm working on onboarding our new group of interns. I'm also working on analyzing competitive analysis for the latest customer requirements. So if you want me to do this new thing, some of these are going to have to probably take a backseat or might take a little bit longer. Which of those would you like? And usually most people are pretty reasonable and going like, oh yeah, maybe I don't want you to do this task because other things are more important, or this is the most important thing, and then you can get a little slack time on the other things, or it's time to bring in someone to help with some of these other things. So it really is about communications, setting expectations. That's how I do work-life balance, and that's how I exceed expectations, and I have a life where I do the things that I want and enjoy. Like, because a company will ultimately take everything that you give them. If you are salaried, there's no reason for them to physically stop you. They will usually tell you, take your vacations, tell you this stuff, but they can't stop you. They will accept, all the hours that you want to give for the most part. So it really is up to you to govern yourself, and I choose to do that by governing expectations. The other question I got, so we got a couple more questions that have been asked, tips on good relationships with managers. So again, this falls under the, building the relationship and having a good relationship before you need it. Good relationship with your management is a lot like building a credit history. When you need credit, when you need a loan, you're fucked. You're not going to be able to get it. I've got my new business. So I recently applied for a business credit card, and they denied me, even though I've got 20 years of personal credit history, excellent credit rating, fantastic employment. They denied me, and I called them up, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And they said, "Oh, your business is brand new. We don't know anything about your business." And I was like, well, that's kind of why I wanted the credit, was so I could, use that to help build the business. But I was like, they were like, well, you want to talk to someone? I'm like, no, I'm good. Cause it's one of those, I know I don't need it. I give myself all the credit I need. Right. But that credit from banks is a lot like credit from your management chain. You need to establish it when you don't need it, because when you do need it, it's likely going to be denied and not go very well. So I always recommend meet with your direct manager I set up regular meetings twice as often as I actually want to meet with them. So if I want to meet with my manager every other week, I set up a weekly meeting. Why do I do that? Because shit comes up, right? Like I'll get busy, or my manager will get busy. So usually about 50% of the time they're canceled anyway. So I'm meeting at the cadence I really want by default. And again, if there's nothing to meet about, just cancel the meeting. Not a big deal. I always come in with an agenda. So as time goes on, I'll note something down of stuff. And the other big thing is to carve out career development conversations with your manager, because often they can get sucked into the very results oriented, like where are we at with this project, where are we at with that project, like are we on track with this? And you got to do that, but you also got to carve out that time of, hey, here's what I want in my career. I'd like to be promoted. I would like to get a raise. And I'm that frank and that honest with my management. I would encourage you, because this is we're talking business. This is a business transaction, and we're also talking people to people that want to help. So if someone doesn't know what you want, they can't help you. They can't read your mind. They can't know that you would rather have more vacation and not get a raise. They can't tell that you want more stock and less base salary. They don't know that unless you tell them. If they tell that, then they can, look for opportunities to get you what you want. One of my managers that I had while I was working in Germany, he said to me, nice boys don't ask, nice boys don't get. I don't know where the fuck that saying comes from, because he was a Norwegian managing in Germany who had also worked in America. So I have no idea where that saying came from, but I took it to heart. You got to ask for what you want, because the worst thing that can happen is you get exactly what you would have gotten if you had not asked, and that's nothing. Or you get what you want. So always ask for what you want. Be very clear. So then you can ask, this is what I would like. How can we work together to make that happen? How do we work together to get me the promotion? How do we work together to get me on the project I want to do? How do we work together to get the skills I want to have? So that's tips for working with a manager. And also, I always love to end a conversation with my manager with, is there anything else that you would like me to do for you? Or is there anything else I could help you with? 99.9% of the time, they say, no, I don't need anything else. You're doing great. And even when that's what they say, I can tell that they are happy, because they know I'm there working for them. And then it makes it that much easier for me to ask for what I want, because this is a reciprocal relationship and we're in it together. I'm here to help my manager and they are here to help me. And the other thing to keep in mind is working that relationship with higher level in the management chain. So second level manager, skip manager. Do absolutely advise, unless for some reason your company's culture, it's just a verboten that is not to be done, that you should always meet with that higher level manager, maybe, once a quarter. Again, read sort of your culture, what's kind of appropriate, push the bounds a little bit. Some people might never, ever want to meet. So I would say don't go with that, but definitely meet. And this has bitten me in the ass, not doing it. So I learned the hard way. So was working at a new group. Me and my first level manager, great relationship, right on the same page. Things were going good. And then I ended up having to work under a lead. We'll call him Dan. Fucking why not? Dan sucked in this role. He was awful. Like, it was amazing. Each week there would be meetings where he would show the update. He would be reporting out to upper management. And so I'd be there, my manager would be there, second level manager would be there. And every week, Dan would just get beat up of like, why are you saying it like that? Why did you say this is a red showstopper status when really we just need to change a font or something? Like it was just, the problems would be insane. They'd get ironed out, fixed, and you'd think, oh, Dan's got it down, right? Like, but the next week he would fuck up the presentation in a completely new way. Like, the creativeness of this man to mess stuff up. It was in hindsight, comical, but at the time, infuriating, because this man was my conduit between the upper level and what I had to do. And his role should have been to facilitate and to ease the flow of information and act as a buffer. But instead, he acted as a full-on insulator, allowing no intelligence to go above or below, just a complete insulator of nonsense. And so I started having some issues because I wasn't as gifted in the art of communication as I am now. And he was a direct report to my second level manager. And so they had a pretty good relationship. And I had no relationship with my second level manager. And even though I was ultimately right a lot of times doesn't matter, because often relationships trump rightness, because there's often more than one way to do things anyway. So I've definitely learned that salvaging relationships is key, and often relationships before results can actually get you much better results. I like that saying. Relationships before results get you better results. So that's a key thing to keep in mind. And so when it sort of came down to, what did Dan do and say? What did Justin? Justin's a complete unknown to my second level manager. And I had a big hole to climb out of because, I just got, it was like, I hear these things about Justin, but Dan, I know all about you. So do advise talking to the second level manager, and it's real easy to just explain to your first level, because some first level managers can get kind of nervous. Like, what are you going to go behind my back and say, just like, hey, I just want to, meet the second level manager. I want to understand, from their viewpoint, what challenges they have, so that I can kind of understand where my role fits in based on what they see, so that I know how to best contribute. And I'd also just would like to know like their career path, so that as I'm getting started here, I know what's possible and what are some options of career development. And I've yet to meet the manager that would say no to that. If they would say no to that, that's time to find a new manager and a new job. Honestly, that is not a good sign. That is not a secure, confident manager that is looking out for your best interest. So that is kind of all I have on, improving your relationship with your manager. Let's see. I think those are all the questions that this intern asked me. But like, it was so cool. He's got these questions, and I've got answers, and I'm sure some of the stuff he'll take, some he won't. But like, he's got the intern spirit, the go-getter, that excitement. And there's no reason why you can't have that, whether it's your first year, your first day, or you've been at it for 10, 20 years. You can always have that intern mindset of like, hey, how can I learn? How can I be better? How can I find my true calling? How can I find my passion? Who can I talk to? Because there's people like me that love to help. Very rarely, if you just say, hey, I want some information, I just want to get your thought on a thing. And if you're very respectful of people's time, they're usually willing to give you. Again, if you're out there looking for a job, like a little assistance, reach out to me. Find me on Facebook, at Emotions Engineering. You can also email me, Justin at e-motionsengineering.com. And, let me know if you need a little help with the resume, the job search, because I am fantastic at building that superset resume, where basically we get your entire life inventory, where you see all the fantastic, amazing things you've done, because that's the person that needs to go look for a job. The person that has done all the amazing things over the years, had all the accomplishments, all the accolades, that person is the one that needs to go ask for the job. That's the person that needs to show up for the interview. The person that's not sure if they've done anything worthwhile, that person is not going to get the job. They're not going to get the interview, and they're not going to get the raise. They're not going to get the promotion. So you need to bring all of you, and I am more than happy to help you see all of you and all your fantasticness, because you are a beautiful, shining little star, and I love you. All right, that's it for today. Thanks again. and we'll see you soon. Bye.